हाय गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। सो आज हम देखेंगे अरिथमेटिक प्रोग्रेशन। ये जो टॉपिक है काफी सिंपल सा टॉपिक है, इसमें 3-4 कॉन्सेप्ट्स है। आई थिंक यू मस्ट मास्टर दिस कॉन्सेप्ट्स एंड वंस यू मास्टर द कॉन्सेप्ट इट्स वेरी इजी फॉर यू टू solve the questions. So just like we do it in every other session, I would like to start off this session by first capturing the very basic concepts. Quickly we'll look at the concepts and उसके बाद हम problems solve करेंगे, right? जो problems हम solve करेंगे, it will take care of all the types of questions that you can expect as far as your exams are concerned. It will be a very nice revision for all types of exams. Okay. Now, first thing is for you to know कि ये जो arithmetic progression जो हम लोग कहते हैं, what exactly is an arithmetic progression? So you have a sequence which has, let's say, A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D, so on, which means every term that is formed is derived from the previous term by addition of a numbers, right? So I could have 3, 5, 7, 9, so on, right? So you are basically looking at arithmetic progression where if you take any difference between any two numbers, the numbers will always be so constant. So if I say this is 3, 5, 7, 9, the difference is referred to as a common difference, which is referred to as D. कन्वेंशन है कि हम लोग पहले टर्म को हम एक ए के तौर पे लिखते हैं। इससे क्या क्या जनरल रिजल्ट्स हम गैदर कर सकते हैं और गैदर करना चाहिए। दो तीन चीजें हैं। whenever somebody is asking you to find out the results, right, or write an expression, so one standard way of writing an expression is obviously कि a लिखो, a plus d, a plus 2d. This is one way to write. But kabhi it might make sense to look at an alternative way of looking at it. What is that alternative way of looking at it? जैसे अगर मैं कहता हूं कि there are 7 terms of an arithmetic progression. So this is obviously the terms of an arithmetic progression. So if I choose 7 terms of an arithmetic progression and I want to know what is the fourth number, fourth term. So one of the whenever you have an odd number of terms, it might be a good strategy to write. For example, if I were to add 7 terms, I can say this is x, x plus d, x plus 2d, x plus 3d, right? This is my fourth term. So x minus d, x minus 2d, x minus 3d, right? ये जो term है आप देख सकते हो, this is a middle term. तो बहुत सारे जगह पे ऐसे अगर हम लिखने से आपका जो सॉल्व करने का तरीका है वो बिल्कुल आसान हो जाएगा. So it becomes very easy for you to write it in the solve the question. For example, if you want to add up or find out the sum of all these numbers, you can see that it is simply nothing but if you add up all of them, you will get 7x. 7x will be the sum of all the numbers, right? We don't have to work with these at all in this case, right? So this is one very useful tip that you can keep in mind, especially while working with odd numbers, odd number of terms. Acha. Now, what are the terms? Suppose we say that if these are the terms of an arithmetic progression, we can see that when I'm talking about the third term, I'm getting a plus 2d. If I take fourth term, I'll get a plus 3d. So in general, if your nth term of an AP is given by a plus n minus 1 into d. For example, if I'm talking about the sixth term, it will be equal to a plus 5 times d, right? Remember, a is the first term and d is the common difference. Now, if I know what is the value of a and d, right, I can find out the sum of the terms of an arithmetic progression. So that's the second thing that you should know, right? First thing is to write the nth term. The second thing is to how do you identify the sum of the first n terms of an arithmetic progression. Now there are many ways to do it. Suppose if I write a1 as the first term and if I take an as the last term, nth term, this divided by 2 into n will give me the sum of the n terms. So you will see it as first term plus last term by 2 into the total number of terms, right? So you can actually look at it and understand that this value happens to be the average of all the numbers of the progression, right? So that's why if you multiply it by n, you're going to get the summation of all the n numbers. Now this is one part. Now this also, right, simplifies into another expression which you normally would remember. Sn is equal to n by 2 into the first term is a, the last term is a plus n minus 1 into d. So this simplifies and gives, right, n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So this is the no, the sum to n terms of an arithmetic progression. These are basically दो the concepts है, ये concepts आप सीखने से I think arithmetic progression solve हो जाएंगे. Okay. So now let's look at questions. If the arithmetic progression has a common difference of 4 and the 10th term is 44, find the first term of the progression and also the sum of the first 10 terms of the series. इसको देखते हैं. ये कहता है कि if the arithmetic progression has a common difference of 4 and the 10th term is 44, you have to find out the first term of the progression. इसका मतलब क्या है? So we have been given for the first question, you know the value of d is equal to 4, and you also know the value of a10, 10th term is equal to 44, right? We also know that 10th term, right, a10 will be nothing but the first term plus 9 times d, right? So this is nothing but a plus 9 times 4, 36. So 44 is equal to a plus 9 times 36, which implies the first term is equal to 8. So if I know the first term of the progression, this will be equal to 8. What is the sum of the first 10 terms of the series? So we know that the first term, which is a1, is equal to 8. My last term of the series, which happens to be a10, we already know is 44. So if I want to find out what is the sum to n terms of the series, I can do it by two methods. The first method is I can write it as first term plus last term by 2 into the total number of terms. That is 44, 8 plus 44 by 2 into 10, that is equal to 260. So that is 52 by 2, that is 26 into 10, that is equal to 260. I could also write it as n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. And n by 2 is 10 by 2 into 2a is 16 plus 9 4s are 36, right? So you can see that this also works out to be 260. आप ये method कर सकते हो, आप या ये method कर सकते हो, but very clearly आप formula लिखना भूलिए मत, right? You must write the formula if you want to get full marks for this question. Okay, we'll move to the next question. इस question में कहता है, if in an arithmetic progression the first term a is equal to 2, common difference d is equal to 2, and the number of terms n is equal to 50, then find its last term. A is equal to 2, common difference d is equal to 2, and n is equal to 50, find its last term. So this is a fairly simple question. The first term a is equal to 2, right? Common difference is equal to 2, and we have n is equal to 50. So which means I want to know what is the 50th term, and 50th term you already know is nothing but your first term plus 49 into d. So that will be 2 plus 49 into 2, or it's simply 50 into 2, which is equal to 100. So simple tha. Very nice, Sushma. We will look at all the types of questions that you can get. सारे जो क्वेश्चंस है, और टुवर्ड्स द एंड आई विल गिव यू दो तीन जो हॉट्स वाले क्वेश्चन है, राइट, जो आपको थोड़ा हो सकता है कुछ लोग स्ट्रगल करेंगे. Which term of the AP is 243? In such, whenever you have an MCQ question, remember one thing, जैसे मैंने last session में भी बताया था, MCQs is also meant to help you in getting the answers quickly sometimes. So, uh, हो सकता है आप you can start by saying, okay, let me check whether this is 11th term or not, right? 11th, because you know that you will have to do A plus 10 into D. It is very easy for us to find out what is the value. So if I'm talking about this, I know that the value of A is equal to 23, and we know that the value of D is equal to 67 minus 45, that is 22. So we want to check whether the 11th term is correct or not. अगर 11th term सही नहीं है तो आगे पीछे देख के check करेंगे, क्योंकि आपको check करना है 9th, 10th, 11th और 12th terms है. So if it is the 11th term, then that term should have been 23 plus 10 into 22, right? That's equal to 220 plus 23, that is 243. Absolutely. So this answer is my correct answer. ये भी हो सकता है कि अच्छा हम अगर चेक करें, we can always check that if I want to find out if 243 is equal to 23 plus n minus 1 into d, d is 22, right? We can see that n minus 1 is equal to 10, hence n must be equal to 11. So this is your second way of solving the question, where we are using the formula to do it. The second way, first way is to, now what is the advantage of MCQs? You don't have to show what is the working, right? आपको working करने की जरूरत नहीं है, आपको बस tick मारनी है क्या answer है, right? You can show if you want, you may want to show it in your rough column, but I mean that's not important. You must get the answer correct. Same, if I use the same concept, so I know that 32 is the term. 32 is equal to A plus n minus 1 into, in this case, D happens to be minus 2. Remember, the D here is D is equal to minus 2. So what do we have here? We have n minus 1 is equal to minus 36 by minus 2 is equal to 18. Hence, n must be equal to 90. ये बहुत ही आसान सा क्वेश्चन था. सारे जो क्वेश्चंस है एमसीक्यू वाले, आई थिंक यू मस्ट think that you should probably not take more than 2.5 minutes. Slightly जो longest questions है, you can probably estimate that you need to give not more than 5 minutes. अगर आप estimate भी करते हो 5 minutes, you might end up finding that कभी कभी 6 minutes हो जाएगा, कभी 4 minutes में हो जाएगा, but 5 minutes is a good median to do the long questions, and all short questions we must not go beyond 3 to 4 minutes, right? Especially if it's MCQ, I think you must think that it should not go beyond 2 minutes. So that's one thumb rule that all of you must have if you want to make sure that up exam mein you're not falling short of time. If the 7th and 13th terms of an AP are 84 and 66 respectively, then find its 30th term. So I mean, you can always remember that because the AP is reducing, right? 7th term, so your 13th term is less than the 7th term, which implies the AP, the sequence is actually a decreasing sequence. So that's something that is obvious. Then find out what is the 30th term. Okay, so what do? We know that A7 is nothing but A, right? Which is the first term, A1, plus 7 minus 1, 6 into D. And A13 is equal to A1 plus 12 into D. So when you subtract one from the other, so we know that this value 84 minus 66, which is equal to 18, must be equal to, when you subtract the right hand side, you will get minus 6D. So D ka value jo hai, that is equal to minus 3. So I know that A13 is equal to 66, or you can also work with A7 के साथ भी आप काम कर सकते हो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, दोनों सेम आंसर ही देंगे आपको. तो A13 का जो वैल्यू है, you will find that it is equal to 66. So what is the value of A30? Right? A30 will be equal to A13 plus 17 times minus 3, 17D, right? Which is equal to 66 minus 51. Sorry, this, right? So the correct answer to this, so it cannot be 89, sorry, right? The correct answer is 15. So the answer should be 15. So you could have eliminated this, not both of them, by the way, right? Because we know the value has to be less than 66. EI definitely आप neglect कर सकते हो. तो ये answer होगा इन तीनों में से. And anyway, if you go ahead and check the answer, it will be equal to 15. So that is one way, right? The other way to do this, if I want to estimate, ठीक है, मैं अगर estimate करना चाहता हूँ जल्दी जल्दी में मैं estimate करना चाहता हूँ और I want to do this in a very quick manner, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? क्या दूसरा तरीका है? I'll show you another method. आपको A7 जो टर्म्स है, A13 जो टर्म है, यहाँ पे 6 टर्म्स, so there are 6 terms here. And if I have to go to A30 terms, then there are about 17 terms here, right? So this difference is working out to be 22. So this difference has to be almost thrice of that, approximately equal to 66. Right? And it will be, this is 6 and this is 13 to 30, that is 17 terms, right? So you know that it will be, of course, not 66, it will be just, sorry, this is 18. Na? So this difference is 18. So this, you will see that it will be approximately 54, right? So what should I do? My answer will be 66 minus 54 approximately. जो answer यहाँ पे है, I would straight away go and mark 15 as the answer. मैं दोबारा repeat करता हूँ इसको. हमें है, हमारे पास है A7, हमारे पास A13 है, right? And तो इसका मतलब इन दोनों के बीच में 6 terms है. 6 terms का जो difference है, that is equal to 18. 84 minus 66. And ये जो है, this is A30. इनका जो difference है, there are about 17 terms. So it's approximately, this has to be approximately, मैं equal नहीं कह रहा हूँ, approximately equal to 54, 3 times. 3 times, this also has to be 3 times. So ये जो A36, A13 जो है, which is a value 66, ये जो answer है, it has to be about 54, a little less than 54, right? से 54 के आसपास कम होनी चाहिए 66 से. सो आंसर जो अपने आंसर में ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता, सिर्फ यही हो सकता है. सो दिस विल बी ए वेरी क्लियर वे टू लुक एट. सो द अदर वे टू एस्टिमेट, जब भी चॉइसेस है, दिस इज द बिग एडवांटेज, आपको पूरा कैलकुलेशन करने की जरूरत नहीं है. यू जस्ट हैव टू डू द approximate calculations. कभी कभी for people who are very smart and very quick at doing calculations, this is a very very useful method. दिस इज लाइक आस्किंग द क्वेश्चन, वर्ड प्रॉब्लम में अगर इसको कन्वर्ट करें, इसका मतलब हम कह रहे हैं कि फाइंड द सम ऑफ द फर्स्ट 15 ऑड नंबर्स. तो पहले 15 टर्म्स का हमें समेशन पता करनी है. तो हम इसको कैसे करें? सो आई एम वेटिंग फॉर एन आंसर. आई विल जस्ट वेट फॉर 15 सेकेंड्स मोर. वेरी गुड सुषमा, ठीक है. तो ये जो आंसर है 225, करेक्ट आंसर इज इक्वल टू 225. सो स्टेप 1 क्या है? हमें फर्स्ट, राइट, you know that A is given as 1, D is given as 2, and I want to find out what is my A 15th term. A 15th term is A plus N minus 1, that is 15 minus 1, that 14 into D, which is equal to 1 plus 28, which is equal to 29. Now, if I want to find out the sum to N terms, right, sum in this case, N is equal to 15, sum to N terms of the series, there are two methods I can do. I can use the first, A plus A15, A1 plus A15. So let me write this as A1 here. A1 plus A15 by 2 into the total number of terms, that is 15, which is equal to 1 plus 29 by 2 into 15, which is equal to 225. Or I could also apply the formula n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. और n का क्या है यहाँ पे? n का वैल्यू है आपके 15 by 2 into 2a is 2 times 1 plus n minus 1, in this case 14, into d happens to be equal to 2. So this will be 15 by 2 into 30, which is equal to 225. तो आपका जो आंसर है 225 आना चाहिए, राइट? परफेक्ट. ये जो क्वेश्चन है थोड़ा कॉम्बिनेशन है, कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ नॉट ओनली योर arithmetic progression concepts, but also the concept of quadratic equations is included in this case. इस क्वेश्चन में आप वो 3 नंबर्स को कैसे लिखोगे वो काफी महत्वपूर्ण बात है, क्योंकि that will make the question easy या difficult. So it's very important how you write the 3 terms, right? And the way you write the terms makes the question easy, which means you can do it in 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, or it will take you 5 minutes to solve the question. Okay, इसको अभी देखते हैं. So sum of the 3 numbers in an AP, right, is equal to 21, and the product is 315. Find the 3 numbers basically, right? So let us assume the 3 numbers are A minus D, A plus D. I've used this just for my convenience. So the way I write this is going to make my calculation simpler. मैंने A plus D, A plus 2D नहीं लिया है. मैंने A minus D और A plus D लिया है. आप देखोगे कि because I have taken it like this, ये जो question है थोड़ा आसान हो जाएगा. So we know that sum of these 3 numbers, sum is equal to A minus D plus A plus A plus D. तो इसका आंसर हो गया 3A. So we know that 3A का वैल्यू जो है 21. So if 3A is equal to 21, इसका मतलब A का वैल्यू जो है 7. So ये 3 नंबर्स का कभी क्या सीक्वेंस हुआ है? So the sequence or the AP is 7, 7 plus D and 7 minus D. Okay, and we know that the product of these 3 numbers is 315, right? 7 minus D into 7 plus D into 7 is equal to 315. Or this goes and this becomes 45. And if I want to, I could also solve this using this one. 49 minus D squared is equal to 45. So D squared is equal to 4, implies D is equal to plus or minus 2. So when you say D is equal to plus or minus 2, so in one case, you will find that the sequence that we are talking about will be 7, 3, and 9. Sorry. D, so A ka value 7 hai, right? D will be, suppose I take my D is equal to plus 2, right? 5, 7, and 9. Or it could also have been, right? 9, 5, and 7. Sorry, 9, 7, and 5. Dono possible hai, right? So unless you assume that or something is given saying that the 3 numbers are either in a series, which is a sequence 5, 7, or 9, right? Increasing sequence. Or if it was a decreasing sequence, the sequence would have been 9, 7, and 5. Either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we are not focusing on the sequence. We are focusing on the 3 numbers that are a part of the sequence. So the numbers are 5, 7, and 9. Okay. Nice, Sushma. Good. You made that correction. Excellent. Agla question. Find the sum of all natural numbers between 100 and 200 between बिटवीन का मतलब इन दोनों के बीच में, राइट? बिटवीन में आप दोनों नंबर्स को एक्सक्लूड करोगे। अगर मैं इसको कहता हूं फ्रॉम 100 टू 200, आप इन दोनों को इंक्लूड करोगे। फ्रॉम और बिटवीन में ये आपको, यू मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दिस डिफरेंस। ये जो डिफरेंस है आपको जानना जरूरी है, राइट? बिटवीन होगा तो आप 101 से लेके 199 तक ई नंबर्स काउंट कर रहे हो। अगर so which means if it is between, you're counting numbers from 101 to 199, and if it is from, you're going to count all the numbers from 100 to 200. Find the sum of all natural numbers between 100 and 200 which are exactly divisible by 3. Okay, so while you're solving it, let me introduce. So whenever we're talking about numbers that are exactly divisible by 3, we know that the first number, right, between, so we are looking from, we are counting from 101 to 199, right? Both of them included. दोनों को इंक्लूड करके हम काउंट कर रहे हैं 101 से लेके 199 तक। तो जो पहला नंबर है दैट इज डिविजिबल बाय 3, द फर्स्ट नंबर दैट इज डिविजिबल बाय 3 इज 102. 102 is what? 34 into 3 times 34, right? Then the last number, right? Last number would be what? The last number, the number that is just short of 200, but divisible by is going to be 198. So 198 is nothing but 66 into 3. So the first number starts from 34 into 3 and the last number ends in 66 into 3. So how many numbers are there from this? So we can see that the total number of numbers will be equal to from 34, right? 34 से लेके 66 तक, right? कितने numbers होंगे? It is not 32. Remember, it is 33. 34 को भी हमको include करना है. There are 33 numbers. It is, please don't make, इसमें mistake मत करना, नहीं करना चाहिए, right? It is not 30. It is not 32. It is 33 because it includes 34. So when you do 66 minus 34, आप इसमें क्या कर रहे हो? आप कह रहे हो कि 34 के बाद, राइट, 66 तक 32 नंबर है, राइट? तो आपको 34 इसमें, यू आर एक्सक्लूडिंग 34, आप इसमें 34 इंक्लूड नहीं कर रहे हो, तो हमें 34 भी इंक्लूड करनी है। हेंस द आंसर इज नॉट 32 but it is 33. A mistake, this is a very common mistake, very common mistake, right? Now I want to know how many numbers are there. My first number is 34 into 3, that is 102. My last number is 66 into 3, that is, right? So there are 33 numbers. So what should I do now? My sum of all the numbers is equal to 33 n into the first term plus the last term divided by 2, which is equal to 300 into 33 by 2, or 150 into 33. So what do you get? 4950. So the answer to this question is 4950. तो इसमें आपका जो concepts included है, there is one concept of progressions, which is arithmetic progression. That is one concept we are using. The second concept that we are using is the concept of numbers, right? Which means we are talking about factors of numbers. ये दोनों को include करके we are finding out what is a summation. And इसमें जो normally जो बच्चे गलती जो करते हैं, और there's a very common error that people commit or students commit, is this fact that they will get the number of terms wrong, right? It's not 31. Now, what is a mistake that somebody would do, right? What is a mistake that somebody would do, right? there are you have to be very careful, and the best way to make sure the errors don't commit is to write the first term in this form, write the last term in this form. So now it is very easy for you to make sure that you're not making any mistakes in finding out the total number of terms. This is also another slightly challenging question, HOTS ka question मैं कहूँ. Okay, so the answer I haven't got it. So let me do this. इतना time शायद नहीं देना चाहिए. Okay, what is if the sum of the first 11 terms of an arithmetic progression equals that of the first 19 terms, then what is the sum of the first 30 terms? ये थोड़ा difficult वाला question है, right? So हम कह रहे हैं कि A1, A2, A3, A11 तक जो भी sum है, if the sum is S, we are saying that this sum is exactly same as the A12, A13 till A19. Okay, so we can very clearly see in this case that so this also equal to, what does this mean? This means that ये जो sum है must be equal to 0, right? This sum is equal to 0. So basically we have, suppose I say that A12 is equal to X, right? And this is going to be X plus, right? 7D, right? So our A12 is equal to X, and then A19 is equal to X plus 7D. Okay. And we want to find out what is the sum of all the 30 terms. So if I add the next term A20, A21 till A30, Sushma, very good. Got the answer, right? We want to know what is the sum of these numbers. So basically what I need to do is I must find out what are the values of what is the sum of these numbers, what is the sum of these numbers, right? What is the sum of these numbers? That is what we must find out. So let me do one, right? What is the average of these two numbers? The average of these two numbers is equal to A12 plus A19 divided by 2, right? And you will find that the two middle numbers that we have here are going to be equal to A15 plus A16 by 2. The average, you remember, one of the things that I said is whenever we think about averages of numbers, whenever you have a sequence, the average of the numbers will always be equal to the first term plus last term by 2. It will also be equal to the second term, second last by 2. It will be equal to the middle terms. So these two will actually be equal. Okay. So this is the average of these numbers, which implies since अगर हम S12 से, right, let me call S12 to S9, S19 वाला जो है, this summation is equal to 0, right? We know the average is equal to average is equal to 0, right? A15 plus A16 by 2, right? And the number of numbers that we have must be 8. This multiplied by 8 is equal to 0. What does this mean? It tells me that A15 plus A16 is equal to 0. This is a very important thing. I will do it by another method also, but this is a, right? Now, if I want to find out what is the sum to all the 30 terms, it is nothing but A1 plus A30 by 2 into 30. It is also equal to the two middle terms, a15 plus a16 by 2 into 30. But we already know that a15 plus a16 by 2 is equal to 0. So this answer will also be equal to 0. So iska jo answer hai, it must be equal to 0. ठीक है, ये एक तरीका है where we are taking the middle terms and we are saying the middle terms gives me the average of all the terms and that value is equal to 0. So what is the other, is there any other longish method to do that? There is also another method, right? So let's say a is my first term, right? A1, and the sum of the first 11 terms of an arithmetic progression is equal to sum of the first 19 terms. So a plus 10d. So let's write this. So sum of the first 11 terms is equal to 11 by 2 into 2a plus 10d, right? Which is equal to 11a plus 55d. Sum of the first 19 terms is equal to 11 by 19 by 2 into 2a plus 18 into d, which is equal to 19a plus 19 into 9, right? That is 171d. So since these two are equal, 11a plus 55d is equal to 19a plus 171d. So we can see some relation between a and d, right? So you will find that 8a will be equal to 55 minus 171 into d. That is 116 minus 116 d. We also want to know what is the relation, what is the sum to 30 terms. So what did I do? First, I found out the sum of the first 11 terms. That is n by 2 into 2a plus 10d. So we got this becomes a plus d. So 11a plus 55d. The second step was sum to 19 terms. So this will be 19 by 2 into 2a plus this. You will get 19a plus 19 into 9. That is 171d. Since we are saying that sum of these two is equal, we equated 11a plus 55d is equal to 19a plus 17d. So इससे आ रहा है आपका 8a is equal to so much. So 8a is equal to, I mean, you can still simplify this, right? We can write 2a is equal to minus 29d. Now, what is it that we want to do? We want to find out what is the value of S30. S30 will be equal to 30 by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1, 30 minus 1 into d. तो इससे आएगा आपका 15 into 2a का वैल्यू यहाँ पे जो भी है सब्स्टिट्यूट कर दो यहाँ से 29d plus 29d, which is equal to 0. So this is the other way to solve this using the conventional methods. So दोनों मेथड है, अब कोई भी मेथड आप यूज करो. Maybe this method is easy for you, right? The other method is also something important to know, right? Okay. अगला क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. Number of common terms in two sequences is, how many common terms are there? Again, another hot question where the concept of arithmetic progression can be combined with the LCM concepts that you have learned in your first chapter. Okay, Sushma says 20. So let's check 20 hoga या 20 से कम होगा, 20 से ज़्यादा होगा, right? And good, Sushma, I think you're doing well, right? So the first sequence, right? मैं उस sequence को लिखता हूँ 17, 21. So let's call the first sequence as S1, right? A sequence क्या है? 17, 21, 25, right? ये है the last term इस sequence का है 417. और दूसरा जो sequence है, let's write it as S2. ये है 21, 16 है उससे पहले नंबर, एंड अगला वाला है 26. सो ऐसे जा रहा है, एंड माय लास्ट टर्म इज समवेयर अराउंड 466. So what is it that I am seeing? I am seeing that the first common term to both the sequences is 21. Now this, the next term is going to, so the next terms are going to come in jumps of 4. Whereas here, it's going to come in jumps of 5, right? It will come in jumps of 5. So when will be the next term come after, right? So the second common term, so let me say C1, if I call this as first term, the second common term will come after LCM of 4 and 5, because we need to see that a multiple of 4 is also a multiple of 5. That is when you'll see that both of them will end at the same place. So it is going to be the LCM of 4 and 5. So that will be equal to 21 plus 20. The one after that would be equal to 21 plus 20 plus LCM of again 4 and 5. So that will be 21 plus 20 plus 20, right? So this is my second term. The third term will be 61, so on. And the last term, so I can see that this is going as multiples of 20 plus 1. And the last term that will be common to both of them has to be less than 417. So the last term, right, which is of the form 20m plus 1 and less than 417 is 401, right? At that point, so this is my first term is 20 into 1 plus 1. My second term is 20 into 2 plus 1. The third term is 20 into 3 plus 1. And this happens to be 20 into 20 plus 1, which means the last term is going to be, common term is going to be the 20th term. Hence the answer to this question is 20. Very nice, Sushma, very nice. I hope you're going to get a 100% in math. ये जो हमने जो भी क्वेश्चंस किया है, ये सारे क्वेश्चंस के अलग अलग कॉन्सेप्ट्स है. ये सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स आप कर लीजिएगा, बिकॉज लास्ट 3-4 क्वेश्चंस जो है, द लास्ट 2-3 क्वेश्चंस आर एक्चुअली स्लाइटली टफर क्वेश्चंस. दिस आर द हॉट्स हॉटर हॉटेस्ट टाइप्स. एंड ये वाले जो क्वेश्चंस आप कर लोगे, आई थिंक आई एम प्रिटी सर्टन दैट you will do very well in the exam. Oh, I'm sorry. So, Aditya, very nice. Oh, maybe मम्मी के फोन से कर रहे हो, ठीक है? Good to know, Aditya. How are you doing? कैसे कर रहे हो स्कूल में? I mean, are you heading towards 100 on 100? I'll wait for a minute more. So ये जो question है, this again is a combination of arithmetic progression and the concept of real numbers, right? The concept of real numbers is combined with the concept of progressions here. Okay, तो मैं ये वाला question करता हूँ. So what do we have here? कह रहा है consider the set P. P is having all these numbers, right? An arithmetic progression is formed out of the numbers in the set P such that the first term of this is 2 and the common difference, okay, second, my tab is behaving erratically, okay, oops. Huh. So maybe I'll use this. So, uh, and the common difference is 6, 9, right? Which of the following cannot be? Which of the following cannot be the uh, now let's look at what we have here. Arithmetic progression is formed, right? Okay, now the tab is okay. So which of the following cannot be the last term of the AP? That is what we want to find. So ये जो terms है, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? इसका मतलब ये हुआ, वो कह रहा है कि ये जो numbers है, right? आपके जो progression है 2, उसके बाद 11 आएगा, उसके बाद 20 आएगा, right? जो भी numbers है, these are going to be the terms because the common difference is 9 and the first term is 2. This will be the sequence, right? We don't know how many terms are there in the sequence. So what we need to know is which of these numbers can be the last term of this sequence. So let's say my last term, suppose there are n terms. So I will say my last term is equal to 2 plus n minus 1 into 9. This is my last term. And we know that this value, right, has to be equal to one of these numbers. So we can talk about the number being 2 plus n minus 1, right? Uh, so a multiple of 9. I'll write it as multiple of 9. This must be equal to my last term. So whatever, now I have to go and look at the choice. So my last term minus 2 should be, this should be divisible by 9 because what is m? M is a integer. So L minus 2 should be divisible by 9. Now let's go to the choices. And that this is the beautiful thing about multiple choice. Multiple choice always gives you the advantage of having numbers here that will help you. So 1199. So if can this be the one? So this is 1199, that is 1197 divided by 9. Is it divisible by 9? Of course it is divisible by 9. Why? The sum of the digits in the numerator is divisible by 9. Hence, this can be the a number. 731 minus 2. I want to know whether this is divisible by 9. This is 729. Is it divisible by 9? Of course, this is divisible by 9. A भी हो सकता है. 1541 minus 2, right? I want to know whether it is divisible by 9. And this is equal to 1539 divided by 9. So this is adding up to 18, numerator, sum of the digits. So is it divisible by 9? Of course it is divisible by 9. 557 minus 2, right? We want to check whether this is divisible by 9. So this is 555. Is it divisible by 9? The answer is a no. So this is cannot be your last term. And if you want to check, you can also check for 1397 minus 2. Is it divisible by 9? We are talking about 1395 divisible by 9. Yes, this is divisible by 9. So A B ho sakta hai. Hence the answer to this question is Aditya, is this clear now? Which of the following cannot be the last term of the AP? Right? So the answer to this question has to be this. Okay. And that kind of brings me to the end of what I wanted to cover in the case of arithmetic progression. Uh, in my next session, I'm going to cover the entire concepts of triangles. And over the next two sessions, I think so geometry, I believe, is very critical for you in terms of the marks also. We will make sure that whatever we cover in geometry in the next 3 odd sessions is sufficient, or maybe 3 or 4 sessions is sufficient for you to get full marks in geometry. So I'll stop here and then I'll meet you again on Saturday. Thank you. Good night.